Welcome to Candidate Profiles, brought to you by Millis Community Media. I'm Peter Themistocles. I'm a member of the Millis Community Media Board of Directors, and I'm happy to host these profiles. Our Candidate Profiles series is designed to help you, the Millis voters, get better acquainted with the candidates in this May's local election. All the candidates, opposed or unopposed, were invited to our studios for 15 minutes to answer questions submitted by Millis voters. I will ask the questions on behalf of the residents, and we will allow approximately 1.5 minutes for each answer before moving on to the next question. Each candidate will have 1 minute at the start and at the finish for opening and closing statements. Now, joining me now is Ellen Rosenfeld, a candidate running for the Select Board. Hi, Ellen. Thanks for coming on in, and please take it away with your opening statement.
Well, thanks for having me. I would like the residents and business owners to know that I was born and raised in Millis. My father was born and raised in Millis. My mother came shortly thereafter. My grandfather came here in his early 20s, and my grandmother shortly thereafter. So third generation Millis. My parents have contributed to this community in their own way. My father was responsible for developing quite a bit of Millis in the form of residential subdivisions and retail establishments. And my mother devoted her entire life to Millis in different capacities, culminating in being elected the first woman selectman in the late 70s. She served three terms and loved every minute of it. I didn't really understand it then, but I do now. I appreciate her passion and her love for this community because I feel the exact same way. Why I'm running right now is I feel that I bring business experience to Millis. I feel as if I have the time and the energy to continue both my parents' legacies, and I know that I have the passion to follow through on those legacies.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's get right into the questions. Our first question comes from, indeed, a Millis resident. What do you see as the top 3 priorities for the town and the Select Board, and how will you address them, and as specific as possible?
The top 3, well, the top 1 has got to be taxes, because that's what everybody talks about. How do you address it? I don't know if 1 minute's enough to address one of these, but smarter spending and smarter earning. We can earn money in some of our departments because it's happening in some of our departments. But on the spending, we certainly can consolidate resources and share information and personnel to free up some money to at least begin to stabilize those taxes. Then we have stormwater. That's been a hot issue. We're looking at other ways to bill it, and we're certainly looking at other ways to alleviate that onus on our residents, particularly the seniors. And the third has got to be the roads, because as you all know, you can barely drive down any of our roads without the possibility of breaking an axle.
Agree completely. Toward that, question number 2, and I believe in the same, really, as we can continue here, the question is, how do you propose then that Millis be proactive when it comes to building and maintaining the roadways, managing the sewer and water, and affordable housing?
Well, again, it's smarter spending. There are redundancies throughout Town Hall and throughout the town. One is that we're now looking for the first time at combining maintenance with the schools. I don't know how many residents know this, but we have not been maintaining town buildings. Each building has been responsible for its own maintenance, and then the school is responsible for its maintenance. Those are redundancies. We are now looking into sharing personnel, equipment, resources, and information. I believe that's going to free up some revenue to attack these important issues, such as the roads. It's just one example.
And sewer, for instance, and
The
the
sewer that we're talking about with the
perhaps
sewer,
it's
well,
part of the question.
well, the sewer is a different issue completely. That's capacity. And I'm not sure that's the same vein, but in order to do that, there's just a little bit more work needs to be done in order to figure out how to get as many people on so that the total that we're paying for is spread out over more people. That will alleviate each person's individual onus.
Spread it out. Excellent. Next question. What new initiatives do you have in mind to court businesses to town?
New initiatives. Everybody talks about bringing business, bringing business. I do whatever I can to bring business as a landlord. Now, as a town, it would be great if we could make permitting online, right? All of the neighboring towns have online permitting, and we haven't quite figured that out. We need to look at the fee structure to make it easier for businesses to come in. We need to be a little bit more welcome. I think that we do a good job for the most part, because we do have some subdivisions coming online, and we are a welcome community compared to some of our neighbors. So I don't think that's one of Millis's issues, to be honest with you.
When actions and decisions of the Select Board may impact your business or home specifically, how will you remain impartial?
Well, there are policies and procedures in place for conflict of interest, if that's where we're going here. And there's requirements, legal, and there are courses you have to take and tests you have to take each year to make sure that you understand when a conflict presents. Now, as a business person, that may happen. Any business person on the board may find that something in particular may affect his or her business. My legal and business experience would guide me with that, as well as conferring with town council if any of that ever does present. And I will be totally transparent with the public. If and when that presents, and what decision I make, whether it be to remove myself from the board or stay, I will be completely transparent as to the reasoning behind that decision.
The very next question is, how do you plan on being transparent? And I'm going to assume that the second part of it, because we did go over anyway, and I saw that happening. So I'm going to go ahead and flip then to the very next question, since we have so many to cover, and because I believe you addressed the question on transparency. Next question then is, how will you work to negotiate with those people who oppose your opinions?
Well, first of all, my whole life is negotiating. I mean, my whole business life is negotiating. It's all I do all day long. And the second part of that is transparency. I am the most transparent person in the world. I want to gather as much information as I can from everybody and anybody. That's my whole point. In order to build Millis, we need to have relationships and share information. So I may learn something. I'm learning something every single day. Every single day during this campaign, I'm learning from somebody. And I'm hopeful that they're learning from me. Only if you can build on that and establish a relationship and an understanding can you both get to the same place. You know, and it's a push and pull and a give and take, but that's life. I mean, that's what it's about. And if you're out there and they're out there and you're going to the same goal, the communication and the relationship, it just happens.
Next question. Are you in favor of the proposed senior center? How might this project impact property taxes and those already struggling to pay for other projects that are already built?
I am in favor of the senior center. I'm more in favor of a senior community center. And yes, taxes are going to increase, and they're right now figuring out the exact number that the average household will expect. That's numbers coming out very soon. I am working right now on finding programs and funding to help seniors in particular pay for that added expense. There's fundraising, there's grants, there's programs out there. There's seniors, there's a very robust senior volunteer program right now that is so robust it caps out every year. The first thing we need to do is uncap it and let any senior who wants to participate. It's a wonderful program and it will make a difference.
Great. Next question. What do you see as some of the weak areas in the operation of the town departments, and how would you improve them?
Communication. That's a no-brainer question. Communication. Our departments do not communicate very well. They do not share information. They do not share resources. I have witnessed that through my meetings. I've been going to meetings every night for the last few months, which, if elected, of course, I will continue to do.
Can I just ask which meetings? Are the town
all
meetings?
the meetings, select board, finance,
Okay.
and there's been budget hearings going on nonstop because it's budget time. Yeah. Fascinating experience. If you have nothing to do, go to a budget hearing. You see the way everything works. Democracy at its best. We need to communicate and we need to share information and resources. That is the key to the growth of Millis. Not only for each department's growth, but for the whole of Millis will benefit. It's so palpably.
Can you name one department that would benefit the most from everything you've just described?
One department that would benefit the most, no, because I think they would all benefit.
Okay, fair enough. Next question. What do you think is the best way for Millis to attain the 10% affordable housing goal?
Well, one way would be for every subdivision that comes in, you make them allot a certain percent to affordable. Now, I know we're doing that, but there's some that have come in that haven't had that. Maybe we bump that up. Maybe we bring in a nice, I know there's been talk about Millis partnering with a developer and doing an entire affordable project. There's been talk about that for years. I don't know why it has never happened. I don't know if we haven't found the right partner. I don't know if we're just not proactive enough. But there's ways to do it. I mean, there are ways to do it. And one, it doesn't have to be one development comes in and takes care of the whole piece. But you eat away at it with each development that comes in.
Finally, what is the one thing, the one skill that people may not know about you that qualifies you for this elected position? I would embellish it a little and ask, perhaps as related to your business experiences.
I think the one skill, seriously, is I have an ability to look at the whole picture. A lot of people get lost in the minutia of their little world, and they don't pull back, and they don't see how that affects this and this and this and this. It's a puzzle. I have an ability. I've done it my whole life with all of my businesses, and it's valuable. Pull back, and you look at the whole picture. It's a holistic, with a W, approach. And in that way, you see how the pieces fit. And maybe this one's going off, maybe not in the direction. Because if you're siloed, it's very easy to just go off on your own direction down some hole that doesn't really help the piece. But if you can pull back and bring it all together, that's an asset.
Fantastic. You now have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Okay. Well, thank you for this. I want to bring relationships back to Town Hall. I want to reopen Town Hall to the community, to the residents, to the seniors, to the business owners. I'm not sure that we're doing a great job getting information out there. And it's an easy thing to do. Number one, we start updating the website. That's easy. Number two, we get the information out to those people, not just those that are going to be impacted, but the whole community. We get a dialogue. I want to hear from everybody. There are great ideas out there. We have great people in Town Hall, and we have great people outside of Town Hall. We need to connect them. And that's the key to the growth of Millis. I really, really believe that.
Thank you, Ellen Rosenfeld, for joining our Candidate Profile series. And thank you for watching. We'll see you at the polls on May 9th.